Did you know that there is a spiritual secret so profound, yet so simple, that Emmet Fox referred to it as the golden key to all harmony and happiness? He taught that this key could unlock any prison door, whether that prison was made of sickness, heartbreak, or, as we will discuss today, the crushing weight of financial limitation. This is not a promise made lightly. It is not a poetic metaphor or a comforting sentiment to soothe a troubled mind. It is a statement of universal law as rigid and dependable as the law of gravity or the principles of mathematics. Today, we begin a journey that has the potential to divide your life into two distinct eras: the time before you knew the truth about supply, and the time after you became the master of your own destiny. I am going to reveal to you the principles behind a specific form of prayer, a scientific treatment that thousands have verified in the laboratory of their own lives. But before I can give you the words, the specific formula that acts as the code to unlock this abundance, we must first prepare the vessel. You cannot pour new wine into old wineskins, and you cannot plant the seeds of prosperity in a mind choked by the weeds of poverty consciousness. If I gave you the prayer right now, without this preparation, it would bounce off your subconscious mind like a pebble off a tank. To make it work, you must understand why it works. You must understand the spiritual mechanics behind the flow of money and abundance. Most people believe that prayer is a gamble. They think they are sending a request up to a distant, perhaps capricious deity, hoping that if they are good enough, or if they beg hard enough, a few crumbs might fall from the divine table. That is the tragedy of the human condition. Emmet Fox discovered that this very attitude, the attitude of begging, of pleading, of outlining to God how bad your situation is precisely the reason you remain in lack. Today, in this first part of our series, I will dismantle the old structure of your belief system regarding money and replace it with the rock, solid foundation of spiritual truth. We are going to explore the mental equivalent, the error of the beggar mindset, and the true nature of God as infinite supply. By the end of this video, you will be ready to receive the prayer that will change everything. Let us start with a radical premise, one that might shock you if you were raised in a traditional, fear-based religious environment. Here is the truth: God does not know poverty. Reflect on that for a moment. The divine mind, the creative intelligence that spun the galaxies into existence, that engineered the complexity of the atom and the grandeur of the oceans, knows absolutely nothing of lack. There is no shortage in nature. Nature is lavish, wasteful, and extravagant. Look at the number of leaves on a single tree, the grains of sand on a beach, the stars in the night sky. The universe is built on a blueprint of infinite redundancy and overflow. Therefore, if you are experiencing poverty, you are experiencing something that has no origin in God. And if it has no origin in God, it has no real power. It is what Emmet Fox called an illusion of the mortal mind. It feels real. Oh, yes! The unpaid bills feel very real. The empty bank account feels terrifyingly real. But metaphysically speaking, it is a lie. It is a shadow cast by a block in your own consciousness. Fox used to say, "You are not suffering from a lack of money. You are suffering from a lack of consciousness." When you pray by focusing on your debts, saying, "Oh Lord, please help me with this terrible debt," what are you doing? You are gazing at the debt. You are giving your attention, your emotional energy, and your mental focus to the lack. By spiritual law, the law of attraction, whatever you focus on with feeling, you magnify. By praying about your poverty, you are inadvertently cementing that poverty into your timeline. You are telling the universe, "I am poor, I am in trouble, I am limited." And the universe, which acts as a giant, impartial mirror, replies, "Yes, you are," and gives you more of the same. True prayer, scientific prayer, is not about informing God of your troubles. God does not need a status report on your bank account. True prayer is the practice of turning away from the picture of lack and turning entirely toward the picture of divine supply. It is a claiming of your heritage. To understand how we are going to fix this, we must understand the law of the mental equivalent. This was one of Emmet Fox's cornerstones. He explained it like this: everything that exists in your outer world, your job, your home, your relationships, and yes, your bank balance, is just a physical reflection of a mental state you hold deep within your subconscious. You cannot have $1 million life with a 10-cent consciousness. It is physically impossible. If you gave $1 million to a person with a poverty consciousness, they would lose it within a year. We see this all the time with lottery winners. Conversely, If you took everything away from a person with a prosperity consciousness, they would rebuild their fortune within a year. Why? Because they possess the mental equivalent of wealth. Your mind is a workshop. Your thoughts are the tools. Your life is the product. For years, you may have been building a mental equivalent of struggle. You may have absorbed ideas from your parents, from the news, or from society that say, money is hard to get. Rich people are evil. I'm not smart enough to be wealthy. There isn't enough to go around. These thoughts have hardened into a mold. Divine substance, which is fluid and infinite, flows through your mind and fills that mold. If your mold is small, cracked, and misshapen, the supply you receive will be small and distorted. The prayer I will reveal in the next part is designed to smash that old mold and build a new, magnificent one. Let me illustrate this with the story of a man we shall call James. This is based on a composite of cases Fox dealt with in New York during the Great Depression. James was a man who had done everything right by worldly standards. He worked hard, he was honest, he was diligent. Yet, at the age of 50, he found himself decimated. His business had collapsed due to market shifts he couldn't predict. He lost his home. His wife was ill with worry. James came to one of Fox's lectures at the Divine Science Church in New York. He was carrying a physical weight. You could see it in his shoulders. He approached Dr. Fox and said, "I have prayed every night. I have begged God to save my business. Why has he forsaken me?" Fox looked at him with that piercing, intelligent gaze and said, "God has not forsaken you, James. You have not been praying. You have been complaining. You have been rehearsing your misery in the presence of God and calling it prayer." James was insulted at first. But Fox explained, "As long as you believe your business is your source of supply, you are vulnerable. As long as you believe the economy is your source, you are a victim. You must realize that God's Spirit is your ONL source. The business was just a channel. The channel may dry up, but the source never does. If one channel closes, the source will blast open 10 new ones, provided your mind is open to see them." James realized he had been worshiping the channel, the business rather than the source. He had been operating from fear. Fox taught him to stop begging for the business to return and instead to claim his standing as a divine being. Fox told him, "James, stop acting like a beggar at the gates of life. You are the prince. Enter the throne room and claim what is yours." This shift is subtle but tectonic. It changes everything. It moves you from a state of wanting, which affirms you do not have, to a state of having, which summons the manifestation. This brings us to a critical distinction that serves as the foundation for the prayer you will soon learn. We must reinterpret the biblical instruction, "Ask and it shall be given." In the original Aramaic and Greek contexts of the Scriptures, the word often translated as ask implies something closer to claim or demand, in a legal sense, not demanding of God, but demanding from the law. It is like writing a check. When you go to the bank to cash a check, you don't go to the teller and say, "Oh, please, kind teller, if it's not too much trouble, and if I've been good this week, might you perhaps give me some of my money?" No. You slide the check across the counter with confidence. You wait expectantly. You know the money is yours. You are making a demand upon the bank based on the laws of banking. Spiritual prayer is writing a check on the bank of the universe. You must sign it with the name of your spiritual nature, the I Am, and you must present it with total confidence. The beggar mindset says, "I hope this works because I am desperate." The scientific mindset says, "I know this works because it is law." Emmet Fox was trained as an electrical engineer before he became a minister. He loved to compare spiritual laws to electricity. Electricity is a powerful force. It is everywhere. It can light a city or electrocute a person. It is not good or bad. It is neutral. It simply follows the path of least resistance and obeys the laws of conduction and insulation. Your consciousness is the conductor. Fear is an insulator. Doubt is a short circuit. When you are in a state of financial panic, you are vibrating at a frequency of loss. You literally become a magnet for expenses. Have you ever noticed that when you are broke, the car breaks down, a tooth needs fixing, and the roof starts leaking all at the same time? That is not bad luck. That is the law of attraction responding to your vibration of emergency and crisis. You are broadcasting a signal that says, "I am in crisis," and the universe loyally responds, "Here is more crisis." To break this cycle, you must stop the signal. You must interrupt the pattern. This is the hardest thing for a human being to do because the senses are screaming, "Danger!" You must look at the empty bank account and, instead of feeling fear, feel expectancy. You must train yourself to see the invisible supply behind the visible lack. So, how do we prepare for this great prayer? We must engage in what Fox called the morning watch. You cannot rush into this prayer while scrolling through social media, drinking coffee, and worrying about being late for work. You are about to perform a spiritual operation on your soul. You need a sterile environment. The time it must be done first thing in the morning. The mind is softest upon waking. The cement of your daily worries hasn't hardened yet. You have a window of opportunity to imprint a new program before the world rushes in. The position Fox recommended, sitting up straight, not lying down too passive, not kneeling too subservient. Sit like a king or queen, spine straight, feet on the floor. This signals to your nervous system that you are alert and in command. The direction: face the east if possible. This is symbolic, but symbols speak to the subconscious. The east represents the rising sun, the dawn of a new day, the return of light. The breath you must breathe. Shallow breathing is associated with anxiety. Deep rhythmic breathing tells the body, all is well. Before you even think about the money you need, you must think about God. This is the golden key. You must remind yourself, God is infinite. God is right here. God is the power in my breath. God is the substance of my mind. You must build a platform of peace. Only from this platform can you launch the rocket of your desire. One final principle before we conclude this first part. When you prepare to use the prayer I will reveal, you must promise to stop outlining. Outlining is when you tell the universe how to bring you the money. I need my boss to give me a raise. I need to win the lottery. I need my uncle to pay me back. Stop it. When you outline, you are dictating to infinite intelligence how to do its job. You are closing 1,000 doors to force open one small window. Maybe your abundance won't come from your job. Maybe it won't come from the lottery. Maybe it will come from an idea for a patent, a gift, a refund, a new career path you haven't even imagined. Emmet Fox said, "It is your job to claim the supply. It is God's job to choose the channel." James, the man I mentioned earlier, wanted his old business back. That was his outline. But God's plan was better. The business did not come back. Instead, the contacts he made through the failure led him to a completely new industry that was just emerging, an industry that made him 10 times wealthier than his old business ever could. If he had insisted on the old business, he would have missed the greater boat. You now possess the intellectual framework. You understand that poverty is a mental disease, not a physical reality. God is infinite supply, and you are the heir. You must stop begging and start claiming. Your mental equivalent determines your bank balance. You must prepare a state of peace to receive. You are standing at the threshold. You have decided to stop being a victim of circumstance and become a master of spiritual law. Your old way of thinking, the worry, the stress, the calculation of pennies, has brought you to where you are today. If you want a different result, you must be willing to do something different. In the next video, part 2, I will hand you the key itself. I will give you the exact, scientific treatment for divine abundance, the specific words Fox taught his students to speak to the subconscious mind. I will guide you line by line on how to vibrate these words so they strike the very fabric of the universe. Prepare your heart, clear your mind. The abundance you seek is already seeking you. It is pressing against the door of your consciousness, waiting for you to turn the lock. Welcome back. In our previous session, we established the intellectual foundation. We agreed that poverty is a mental disease, not a divine virtue. We established that God is infinite supply and that your external world is merely a reflection of your internal, mental equivalent. You have intellectually accepted that you are the prince who has been living like a pauper, and that the time has come to reclaim your throne. Now, we move from theory to practice. We move from the classroom to the laboratory. Emmet Fox often corrected his students when they spoke of praying in a vague, sentimental way. He preferred the term treatment. Why? Because the word prayer has been corrupted by centuries of pleading and begging. It suggests a weakness calling out to a strength. But a treatment is technical. It implies a specific process applied to a specific condition to produce a specific result. When a doctor treats a wound, he cleanses it, applies antiseptic, and binds it up, knowing that the laws of biology will heal it. He does not beg the wound to heal. He facilitates the condition for healing. Today, you are the spiritual physician. The condition you are treating is lack. The medicine is truth. And the instrument you will use is the scientific prayer I am about to give you. I am going to break this prayer down into its constituent parts, its molecular structure, if you will. You must not merely parrot these words like a magnificent parrot. You must understand the metaphysical detonation that occurs with each phrase. Every sentence is designed to unlock a specific door in your subconscious mind and dissolve a specific block in your energy field. Are you ready to treat your consciousness? Let us begin. Before you speak a single word of the prayer, you must establish the condition of the vacuum. Emmet Fox taught that the presence of God cannot flow into a mind that is crowded with fear, anxiety, and worldly noise. You cannot fill a cup that is already full of stagnant water. You must empty it first. The physical setup, as we discussed, find your quiet place. Sit upright, spine straight. This is not a posture of relaxation, it is a posture of alertness. You are about to conduct high-voltage spiritual energy. The mental clearing, close your eyes. I want you to visualize a heavy, gray cloud surrounding your head. This cloud is made of your worries, the rent, the debt, the tuition, the price of groceries. Now, visualize a brilliant wind of golden light blowing from the east. Watch it scatter the gray cloud. Watch the gray mist dissolve until there is nothing but clear, blue, mental space. You must reach a point of neutrality. This is the moment where you are neither afraid of poverty nor desperate for wealth. You just are. In this silence, you are connecting your small, personal mind with the great universal mind. Hold this silence for at least 60 seconds. Do not rush. This silence is the fertile soil. If you plant the prayer in panic, it will grow panic. If you plant it in peace, it will grow peace. The metaphysics, why do we start here? Because you must immediately break the mesmerizing illusion that your job, your clients, or the economy are your source. As long as you believe your company is your source, you are a slave to your boss. As long as you believe the stock market is your source, you are a slave to the news. By declaring, "Infinite Spirit is my source," you are cutting the cords of dependency on the physical world. You are plugging your appliance directly into the main power grid of the universe, bypassing the faulty wiring of the world. When you say, "I am a citizen of that kingdom right now," you are collapsing time. You are not waiting to die to go to heaven. You are asserting that the kingdom of abundance is a parallel reality available to you in this present moment. The metaphysics, this is what Fox called the denial. In the old metaphysical tradition, a denial does not mean ignoring a problem, like not paying a bill. It means denying the authority of the problem to hurt you. Imagine a shadow of a dog on the wall. It looks like a monster. It looks like it can bite you. But if you know it is a shadow, you deny its power. You say, "You cannot bite me." When you speak these words, you are looking your bank account in the eye, that zero balance, and saying, "You are a shadow. You are a temporary arrangement of electrons. You have no dominance over my spirit." This releases the grip of fear. Fear binds supply. A fearless state releases it. You must speak this line with a touch of defiance. You are rebelling against the tyranny of lack. The metaphysics here is the engine of the prayer. Notice the phrase, directions known and unknown. The human intellect always looks to the known directions. I can only get money if I work overtime. I can only get money if I sell this car. That is the pinhole view of the universe. God has a million ways to bless you that you cannot conceive of. By saying unknown directions, you are literally widening your mental receiver. You are giving the universe permission to surprise you. And notice the adverbs easily, freely, joyously. Most of us have a deep belief that money must come through suffering. By the sweat of thy brow, that is Old Testament theology. We are in the new thought. We believe that since God is love, his gifts should arrive on the wings of joy, not the back of struggle. You are reprogramming the struggle glitch in your brain. The metaphysics, this is the most critical part of the treatment, and the one most people skip. Emmet Fox was adamant, you cannot attract what you resent. If you drive through a wealthy neighborhood and feel a pang of jealousy, or think they probably stole that money, or rich people are greedy, you have just erected a steel wall between you and your own prosperity. Your subconscious mind is simple. It hears you say, rich people are bad. It also knows your prime directive is, I want to be good. Therefore it concludes, to be good, I must stay poor. And it will sabotage every opportunity you get. You must cleanse this. When you bless a rich person, you are telling your subconscious, this is good, I like this. Bring me some of this. This line is the solvent that dissolves the rust in your pipes so the water can flow. The metaphysics, Guilt is the most expensive emotion in the human experience. Guilt demands punishment, and in the modern world, the most common form of self-punishment is financial lack. I wasted that money years ago. I made a bad investment. I didn't save enough. These thoughts are anchors. You cannot sail forward with the anchor down. By using this line, you are cutting the anchor chain. You are declaring a statute of limitations on your own errors. God has forgotten your mistakes. Why do you remember them? To treat for prosperity while holding on to guilt is like trying to drive with the parking brake on. Release it. The metaphysics, this is the Amen. But it is not a wish, it is a seal. In the Bible, when Jesus raised Lazarus, he said, "Father, I thank thee that thou hast heard me," before Lazarus moved a muscle. Gratitude before the demonstration is the supreme act of faith. It is the vibration of received. When you say, "I thank you," you move from the vibration of lack, "I need it," to the vibration of having, "I have it." The universe only responds to having. Now that you understand the anatomy, I want to guide you through the actual experience of this prayer. I want you to perform this treatment with me right now. Do not just listen. Participate. This is an activation. Pause. Sound of a deep breath. Close your eyes. Sit up straight. Take a deep breath in, hold it, and let it out with a sigh. Let go of your rent. Let go of your debts. Let go of the argument you had yesterday. Visualize a golden sun rising in your chest. Now repeat after me, either aloud or in the silence of your mind. Speak these words to your own subconscious. Spoken slowly, with deep resonance. Infinite Spirit, I acknowledge that you are the one and only source of my supply. So feel the relief of that. You are not the source. The economy is not the source. God is the source. There is no lack in your perfect kingdom, and I am a citizen of that kingdom right now. Visualize yourself standing in a kingdom made of light, where everything is provided instantly. I completely release and deny all belief in limitation. See, imagine pushing a heavy wall away from you. It falls over and disappears. The appearance of scarcity is a lie, and I give it no power. See, feel a surge of strength. You are taking your power back from the dollar sign. Right now, I claim my perfect abundance. So reach out with your feelings. Claim it like you would claim your luggage at an airport. Money flows to me from directions known and unknown. See streams of golden light rushing toward you from the north, south, east, and west. I am an open channel for divine substance. So feel your body relaxing, opening up to receive. I forgive and release all resentment toward money. So think of someone wealthy you may have judged. Send them light. Say, I bless you. I forgive myself for the past. See your past self. Hug them. Tell them it is okay. Dissolve the guilt. I give thanks because this prayer is already answered. A smile. Feel the genuine emotion of relief. It is done. My good is here now. It is so. Take a deep breath. Anchor that feeling. Open your eyes. You have just performed a scientific treatment. In the invisible realm, you have set massive forces in motion. You have aligned the gears of the universe. But now comes the danger zone. Emmet Fox warned that 90% of prayers are ruined after they are prayed. How? By what you do in the interval between the prayer and the result. If you pray for abundance at 700 a.m., and then at 800 a.m. you tell your spouse, I don't know how we're going to pay for these groceries, you have just canceled your prayer. You have dug up the seed to see if it is growing, and by doing so, you have killed it. Fox called this the mental diet. For the next 30 days, you are on a strict diet. You are not allowed to indulge in negative financial talk. If a bill comes in the mail, do not say, I am broke. Look at the bill and say, Infinite Supply pays this. I thank God for the money that is on its way. This requires discipline. It is harder than physical dieting, but the rewards are infinite. Every time you refuse to worry, you are depositing money into your spiritual bank account. Every time you succumb to fear, you are making a withdrawal. The technique of the switch. Fox taught a technique called the switch. Throughout your day, the old thoughts will try to come back. What if I lose my job? What if the car breaks? The moment, and I mean the split second, you feel that thought, you must flip the switch. Do not argue with the thought. Do not fight it. Just slide your mind instantly to the image of God as supply. Say to yourself, God is my instant supply. Do this 50 times a day if you have to. You are training a puppy. Your mind is the puppy. It wants to run into the traffic of fear. You must gently, firmly bring it back to the sidewalk of truth. The concept of circulation. There is one final mechanical aspect to this treatment action. Fox taught that money is like blood. Its function is circulation. Blood that stops moving becomes toxic clots. Money that is hoarded out of fear blocks the flow. This does not mean you should spend money you don't have recklessly. It means you must spend what you do have with a spirit of trust. When you pay for your coffee today, do not tighten your hand. Do not feel a sense of loss. As you hand over the money, mentally bless it. Say silently, "Go do good, and return to me multiplied." Keep the energy moving. Even if you only have $1, circulate it with the consciousness of a millionaire. This signals to the universal subconscious that you are part of the flow, not a dam blocking it. You now have the treatment. You have the explanation. You have the instruction for the mental diet. You are holding a loaded weapon against poverty. But a weapon only works if you fire it. You must commit to this for 30 consecutive days. Why 30? Because psychologists and metaphysicians agree that it takes roughly 1 lunar cycle to break a hardened neural habit and install a new one. You have spent 20, 30, maybe 50 years building a consciousness of lack. Do not expect to dismantle it in 20 minutes. It takes persistence. There will be days when you don't feel like doing it. Do it anyway. There will be days when it feels like you are talking to the wall. Talk to the wall anyway. The wall is your own subconscious, and it is listening. There will be days when the fear grips you by the throat. That is the moment where the battle is won or lost. In that moment, stand your ground. Speak the prayer louder. Shout it if you have to, as in your car or a private place. Break the hypnosis of fear with the thunder of truth. You have learned the mechanics. You have practiced the vibration. You are now a practitioner of the golden key. But what happens next? What does it look like when the universe begins to rearrange itself around this new prayer? There is a timeline to this miracle. There are signs you must look for. And there is a specific danger phase, a storm before the calm, that Emmet Fox warned about, which causes many people to quit just 3 feet from gold. In the final video, part 3, I will walk you through the timeline of demonstration. I will explain the phenomenon of chemicalization, where things might appear to get worse before they get better, and I will show you how to navigate that storm to reach the shore of total financial freedom. Do not start the prayer until you are ready to see it through. Review this video. Write down the prayer lines I gave you. Memorize them. Make them yours. The instrument is in your hands. The power is in your heart. The time is now. You now have the map. You have the vehicle. You have the fuel. But you have not yet reached the destination. Between the moment you speak the prayer and the moment the hard cash lands in your hand, or the job offer arrives, or the debt is canceled, there is a gap. This gap is called the interval of demonstration. Emmet Fox taught that this interval is the graveyard of good intentions. It is where 90% of students fail. They pray the prayer. They feel the high, but when the physical world does not instantly reshape itself into paradise, they lose heart. They let the doubts creep back in. They dig up the seed to see if it is growing, and in doing so, they kill the harvest. Today, in this final and most crucial session, I am going to walk you through the timeline of what will happen over the next 30 days. I am going to prepare you for the storms. I am going to explain a frightening phenomenon called chemicalization, where things seem to get worse before they get better, and I am going to give you the final seal that ensures your victory. If you are not prepared for what I am about to tell you, you will quit on day 10. But if you listen closely, you will march through the fire and emerge on the other side as a master of your own destiny. When you begin the scientific treatment for abundance, you are not just saying words. You are dropping a depth charge into the ocean of your subconscious mind. This part of your mind is vast, powerful, and, frankly, creature-like. For years, perhaps decades, it has been programmed with the poverty algorithm. It expects struggle. It creates struggle. Now suddenly, you are feeding it a new command. I am the heir of infinite abundance. Do not think for a second that the old program will surrender without a fight. The process of overriding this old code usually follows a specific 4-stage cycle over 30 days. The first week is often what Fox called the pink cloud phase. You have started the prayer. You feel relieved. You have handed your burden over to God. You feel a surge of hope. During these first few days, you will likely see little signs. These are the winks of the universe. You might find a $20 bill in an old coat pocket. You might get a discount on a purchase you didn't expect. Someone buys you lunch. You feel a sudden, inexplicable sense of peace regarding a bill. These are not the main event. These are the appetizers. The universe is saying, I hear you. The channel is opening. Your duty in stage fronting gratitude. Do not dismiss these small signs. If you find a penny on the street, pick it up and say, I thank you, God, for this symbol of your abundance. If you cannot be grateful for a penny, you do not have the capacity to manage a million. You must validate the flow, no matter how small the trickle. Around the second week, the novelty wears off. The pink cloud evaporates, and often all hell breaks loose. Emmet Fox used a specific term for this: chemicalization. Imagine you have a glass of water with mud settled at the bottom. The water looks clear because the mud is still. Now, imagine you take a spoon, the prayer, and start stirring it vigorously to clean it out. What happens? The water doesn't get cleaner immediately, it gets muddier. The dirt that was hidden at the bottom is churned up to the surface. When you treat for prosperity, you are stirring up the mud of your old fears, your old guilts, and your old beliefs in lack. They must come to the surface to be skimmed off. You pray for money, and your car breaks down the next day. You pray for debt relief, and you receive an unexpected tax bill. You pray for a new job, and you get fired from your current one. You feel sudden, irrational bursts of anger or depression. The uninitiated student screams, "It's not working! I prayed for good and I got bad! This stuff is nonsense!" And they quit. But the initiated student, the student of Fox, smiles, because they know that chemicalization is proof that the treatment is working. If nothing was happening, the mud would stay at the bottom. The fact that the dirt is visible means it is being expelled. Let me share the case of Robert. Robert was a mechanic who started this 30-day prayer to save his home from foreclosure. On day 10, his own truck, his only means of getting to work, blew its transmission. The repair cost was money he did not have. His wife told him, "Stop this praying nonsense, Robert.
Look what it did.
It brought us bad luck." But Robert remembered Fox's teaching. He looked at the broken truck and refused to accept the verdict of bad luck. He stood in his driveway and declared, "This looks like disaster, but I label it success. This breakdown is a bridge to my good." He refused to panic. He refused to complain. He walked to work. 3 days later, while walking, he took a shortcut past a construction site. He struck up a conversation with the foreman. The foreman needed a master mechanic to maintain their heavy machinery fleet, a job that paid double what Robert was making and came with a company vehicle. The breakdown of the truck was not a tragedy. It was a divine eviction from a situation that was too small for him. The prayer had to break his truck to force him to walk into his destiny. Stand firm. When the trouble comes, do not react. Say to the trouble, "I know what you are. You are the dust of the old system leaving my life. Begone." Double your prayer time. Praise God in the midst of the storm. If you survive chemicalization, you enter the valley of silence. The chaos settles, but the big miracle hasn't appeared yet. It feels like nothing. This is the test of endurance. It is easy to have faith when things are exciting, stage 1, or when you are fighting a crisis, stage 2. It is hard to have faith when you are bored and the deadline is approaching. Your mind will whisper, "Maybe it's just not meant to be. Maybe I'm doing it wrong." This is the ego trying to sneak back in through the back door of apathy, a consistency. This is where you develop spiritual muscle. You pray the prayer not because you feel it, but because it is your job. You are a laborer in the vineyard of the Lord. You show up, you hoe the row, you trust the soil, you do not dig up the seed. This is the harvest. This is the period Emmet Fox called the demonstration. Because you cleared the mud and you stood through the silence, the channel is now wide open. The manifestation often comes in a rush. It is rarely just one thing. It is a cluster of blessings. The story of Linda, the 30th day miracle. Linda was a secretary, 42 years old, who felt invisible and underpaid. She used the treatment. She went through the doubt. She went through the silence. On day 29, nothing had happened. She went to bed on day 29 saying, "God, I have done my part. The rest is up to you." On day 30 at 10:00 a.m., she received a call. It wasn't a job offer. It was a former client of her boss. He had started his own firm and remembered her efficiency. He didn't just offer her a job, he offered her a partnership share to manage his operations. Linda didn't just get a phrase. She changed tax brackets. She moved from the employee class to the owner class. The universe had been assembling this deal behind the scenes for the entire 30 days, moving people and circumstances like chess pieces. If she had quit on day 20, the chess game would have been abandoned. There is a secret weapon in Emmet Fox's arsenal that I must share with you. It is the story of Thomas, and it addresses the single biggest block to wealth: resentment. You may be doing everything right, saying the prayer, visualizing, affirming, but if you hold a grudge against a single human being, you are kinking the hose of supply. Fox taught that resentment ties you to the person you resent with a cosmic steel band. You are handcuffed to them energetically, and if you are handcuffed to a vibration of anger, you cannot ascend to the vibration of opulence. Thomas came to Fox completely ruined. He had lost his business to a partner who swindled him. Thomas was 67 years old, broke, and consumed with hatred for his ex-partner. He wanted money, but he wanted revenge more. Fox told him, "Thomas, you will never have a penny as long as you hate this man. You must pray for his prosperity." Thomas was outraged. "Pray for him? He is a thief! He should be in jail." Fox replied, "Do you want to be right, or do you want to be free? You are drinking poison and expecting him to die. You must release him." Fox gave Thomas a variation of the Golden Key prayer. He had to say, "God bless him, partner's name. Infinite Spirit is opening the way for his prosperity and understanding. I release him to his own path. I am free and he is free." Thomas struggled. He choked on the words. But he did it. For weeks he prayed for the man who ruined him. Around day 40, something miraculous happened. The knot in Thomas's stomach dissolved. He felt a physical lightness. He truly didn't care about the partner anymore. 2 days later, Thomas was approached by a competitor of his old firm. They valued his 40 years of experience. They hired him as a senior consultant with a salary that exceeded his old profits, and, here is the irony, without the headaches of ownership. Thomas ended up wealthier and happier than before. By blessing his enemy, he broke the handcuff. He unblocked his own good. The lesson, if there is anyone, a parent, an ex-spouse, a bad boss, a politician, whom you resent, you must include them in your prayer. Say, "I bless them with the abundance of God." You don't do this for them, you do it for you. It is the act of a prisoner unlocking his own cell. As you move into your new life of abundance, there are 2 traps that can pull you back down. You must be vigilant. Your ego will tell you that you are imposter. Who are you to be rich? You are a sinner. You are lazy. You dropped out of school. Remember, abundance is not a reward for good behavior. It is a result of alignment. Gravity does not care if you are a saint or a sinner. If you step off a cliff, you fall. The law of supply does not care if you are good or bad. If you align with it, you prosper. Emmet Fox said, "Your value is not what you do, it is what you are, a spark of the divine." Do not try to earn your prosperity through suffering. Accept it through grace. Trap 2, cast not your pearls. Rule, I cannot stress this enough, silence is power. When your life starts to change, when the money starts flowing, you will want to run and tell your pessimistic brother, your jealous neighbor, or your skeptical friends. Dio naudo at. The Bible warns, "Do not cast your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet and turn and tear you to pieces." This is not calling people swine. It means that if you expose your tender, new spiritual demonstration to the skeptical minds of others, their negative doubts will attack your faith. They will say, "Oh, it's just a coincidence. It won't last. You're getting scammed." Their doubt acts like a frost on your budding plant. Keep your miracle between you and God until it is so solid, so undeniable, like a new house or a loaded bank account, that no one can deny it. Until then, zip your lips. Contain the energy. What happens after day 30? Do you stop praying? No, you change the prayer. Once the crisis is over and the flow is established, you move from emergency treatment to maintenance consciousness. You will find that you are a different person. You no longer look at price tags with fear. You no longer worry about the future. You have developed a spiritual GPS. You develop an intuition for investments. You feel when a deal is good or bad. You become a magnet for high vibration people. Wealthy, happy, creative people will drift into your orbit because, like attracts like, you have installed a new operating system in your mind. The poverty virus has been deleted. The prosperity program is running in the background 24/7, creating opportunities while you sleep. This transformation is permanent if you maintain your contact with God. Emmet Fox warned that if you get the money and then forget the source, the money will become a curse. It will vanish as quickly as it came, or it will bring problems. Always remember, the money is not the wealth. The connection to God is the wealth. The money is just the shadow cast by that connection. Never worship the shadow. Always worship the light that casts it. We have reached the end of this teaching. You now possess the full golden key. You have the theory, part 1, the tool, part 2, and the map, Part 3. There are no more excuses. The door of the prison is unlocked. It is wide open. The guards are gone. God is beckoning you to walk out into the sunlight of the heritage that has been yours since the beginning of time. I want to seal this entire series with a final spiritual treatment, a benediction used by Emmet Fox to close his most powerful seminars. I want you to receive this blessing. Let it settle into your bones. No, may the peace of God, which passes all human understanding, guard your heart and your mind. May the infinite supply of the universe rush to meet you at every corner. May every debt be dissolved in the solvent of divine love. May every fear be washed away by the tides of faith. May you realize that you are not a body struggling to survive, but a spirit living in a world of light. Go forth with the courage of a lion and the gentleness of a dove. You are rich with the riches of God. You are safe in the fortress of truth. You are loved with an everlasting love. It is done. It is finished. It is so. Amen. Call to action. Do not let this just be another video you watched. Do not let this be shelf knowledge. Tomorrow morning, before the sun rises, your work begins. If you are ready to take the 30-day challenge, if you are ready to face the chemicalization and claim your victory, I want you to make a covenant with yourself right now. Subscribe to this channel, not for me, but to keep yourself anchored to this teaching. You will need to come back to these videos when the doubt hits on day 15. Share this video with one person, just one, who you know needs this key. By giving it away, you keep it. Go now. Your abundance is waiting.